Hello again. In this piece, I'm going to talk about firms in competitive markets, also called perfect competition, also called pure competition. You might hear any of these three terms, depending on whatever textbook or Google search you might find. You might look at. You might hear any of these terms. They're all interchangeable. And one thing I've learned over the years is that sometimes students who are maybe kind of guessing a little bit will think that this means cutthroat competition. And I'm going to just put right out there as I define this term that is not what it means. Um, there's an essence of that there, there's an element of that there, but if you're looking for that, this is not going to be so. The characteristics of pure or perfect competition are these. There's a large number of firms in the industry. So if you're thinking about competitive industries like cutthroat competition among things like car manufacturers, no, no. In fact, it's quite different than that altogether. Car manufacturers are not perfect or pure competitors. No, these large number of firms are things like egg producers, uh, watermelon growers, field corn growers, soybean farmers, cattle farmers, beef on that note, um, uh, commercial fishermen would fall under perfect competition. Because here's another characteristic: a product that is indistinguishable from firm to firm. So the two big characteristics, and then they call some other related things to come along, but the two big characteristics of perfect competition is that there is a large number of firms and that what they make is indistinguishable from one to another. So if you think of those things that I mentioned, eggs. Okay, you might know Eggland's Best, that's a brand of eggs. But Eggland's Best, I'm sure, is buying those from egg farmers everywhere and then putting them in their package basically. And they might have some standards that they require of their farmers that maybe make them a little bit different than the Safeway or the Food Lion brand, but they're still eggs. And you might say, but some eggs are bigger than other eggs. They're medium, there are large, there are extra large. I think they're even jumbos. I'm not sure. And then there are free range eggs, which I actually do like because I feel kind of bad for chickens. They live a rough life, but they do taste so very good. Now, these are categories of a good that within the category, from one producer to the other, the good is indistinguishable. So you can't tell one egg farmer's medium brown egg from another egg farmer's medium brown egg. It's an indistinguishable product. Um, Beef, within a cut of beef, sure, but a cow, a butchered cow is a butchered cow, right? No one rancher can say my cows are better than everybody else's cows. It's just not going to happen. Same with grains, field corn, um, or even sweet corn for that matter, really. Sweet corn does have the tendency to be sold at farm stands, which probably don't fall into this category. But when grocery stores buy sweet corn, they buy it from local farmers and they buy it at a set price because one farmer's um, white sweet corn or gold sweet corn within that category is indistinguishable from another farmer's white sweet corn or yellow sweet corn. And field corn works very much the same way. There are different standards that a truckload of field corn can fall into, but once it's in that standard, yours cannot command a higher price than someone else's because it's the same indistinguishable product. That means what I just said there, cannot command a higher price. That means because of this large number of firms in this indistinguishable product, these pure or perfect competitors, they are called price takers. They do not have the ability to influence prices by themselves because there's so many of these small producers and they're making an indistinguishable product. So you can't say, my field corn, which is X percentage moisture and Y percentage inert weed seed, is better than my neighbor's who meets those same standards. It's just field corn. it's not going to be better. And so you can't charge a higher price. Whatever the going rate is from your buyer is all you can get. Now, on that note, that also implies that the farmer can sell to the seller, to the buyer, the wholesaler, the grain, grain distribution centers, for only one price, and they'll pay that price whether the farmer brings a little bit of grain or a lot of grain. So again, a lot of small producers with an indistinguishable product and no ability to influence prices, and all that then rolls into this other facet of our perfect competition, or our characteristics of our pure competitor, and that is that a perfect competitor faces a horizontal demand curve. The buyer of the seller's good will buy as much or as little as they bring to the market for the same exact price. So those are our characteristics of the perfect competitor. In my notes, I have another example, Kenneth Lilly fasteners. With this stuff I have around me, I usually can point to a room, but I can't do that in my homemade studio here. But like wall fittings, like electric receptacle covers or light switch covers, or the screws that hold those in, those fasteners, those are an indistinguishable product. You know, screws, one screw can be different from another screw because of the coarseness of the thread, or one can be Phillips, one can be slotted or straight slot, or star. They can be panhead, they can be flathead. They're different kinds of screws, but within a category of screws, they're all the same. And right off of 695, so Kenneth Lilly Fasteners, I have the website on there because I was across the street from a retail store I used to work. But right off of 695, if you go up 695 on the south side, and then go north on 195, right up on the right, if you notice, there's a place called, it's like Baltimore Steel and Fasteners or something like that. That is a producer of things like nails and screws, and it's an indistinguishable product. So there are a lot of these people that can make screws or nails. It's something that a lot of people can actually do. Machinists can do it, which leads us to other characteristics. The reason I am hoping to conjure the image of that facility there on 195 is because they have a very low profile sign out front. Anyone watching this video, making it this far, who has driven on that road probably can't place it in their memory. It's a very low-key looking thing. They don't have a lot of advertisement like, as I said, car manufacturers do, or fast food restaurants do. They have the sign out there. I don't even know if it has a light on it. And it's blue and white, and it just has what the business is on the sign. It's very plain. I think they have a drawing of a nail to help you figure out what they're doing there. But that is it. Because think about it. If your product is indistinguishable from someone else's product and you can't charge a higher price, why would you advertise? Because advertising costs money. Why would you have an expensive, fancy sign? That would be a waste of money. Nobody's paying more for your nails or screws because they're the same as everyone else's nails or screws. So why would you spend money on something like that? So another related characteristic of these perfect or pure competitors is they tend not to advertise. There's just no reason to do that. So again, many firms, indistinguishable product, that makes them price takers. They face a horizontal demand curve, and they tend to not have any reason to advertise. I think that generally covers, no, I'm sorry, there's another facet to this that all that leads into. Because of those characteristics, largely because of those characteristics, there's yet another characteristic to be aware of when we're talking about types of firms. And in this type of firm, pure or perfect competition, there's easy entrance and easy exit. I mentioned that A lot of people can actually make screws and nails. I don't actually know how to make screws and nails, but I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people can learn how to do it pretty easily. And I think the technology to do it, the machinery actually that it takes to do it, is not that advanced or hard to get a hold of. I could be wrong about that, but I'm fairly certain that is true. And some people here might be watching this saying, oh no, it is hard. But then again, if there are people here watching this that know how to do it, that means a lot of people know how to do it. Let's be honest. So these things are easy in and easy out. Maybe a better example of the easy in and easy out is the chickens or the eggs. I don't know which one came first. It remains a mystery, doesn't it? Whichever one you want to focus on, they're both perfectly competitive industries. They're different industries, right? Eggs and chicken. They're very closely related, but they're different. They're both perfectly competitive. How hard is it to be an egg producer? Think about that. How hard is it? You're probably thinking, oh, it's pretty hard. You have to have a chicken farm. Not really. No, because your consumer, if you're a producer, will buy a little or a lot. So you could make a couple dozen eggs and probably sell them. Now, in a couple dozen eggs, you probably sell them out front. We see that on the sides of rural roads all over the place, don't we? You know what's funny? I said rural roads, and I can't think of examples of where people are selling their eggs, but I can tell you that in suburban and probably even in urban areas, you might find people, if you look around, and every time I said this in face-to-face classes, students, somebody's been like, I do that, or my neighbor does that. A lot of people have chickens in their yards and produce eggs. That's how easy in and easy out is. Every spring at Tractor Supply, they sell little baby chicks and little baby ducks, actually. As a matter of fact, I've done that a few times myself. Still no eggs yet, but I've raised them. It's very easy to get in. I went to a public hearing for the Anne Arundel County Council when they approved an allowance to have, I forget how many, chickens in your yard in Anne Arundel County, and it was an issue because someone at Severna Park, which is actually a very affluent area, had chickens in their yard, and there had been some kind of a dispute over these chickens, and it came to the county council's attention, and they approved some number of chickens that a typical household is allowed to have in their yards. So easy in and easy out. I mean, you want to get into raising eggs, you go get some chickens, you can get them at Tractor Supply, and you probably investigate it and find it all kinds of places year round. And when you don't want to be an egg producer anymore, then you have a couple chicken dinners and you're out, right? Easy in, easy out. So what are the characteristics again? Large number of firms, indistinguishable product. That makes them price takers. They face a horizontal demand curve. The buyers will buy a little if they have a little at the market price, or they'll buy a lot if they have a lot to sell at the market price. They tend not to advertise very much because it's a waste of money, and it's very easy in and easy out. So these are the characteristics of the kinds of firms we're talking about, and there are, I think I named off a number of examples along the way. And hopefully that gets us started. Where we're going from here is to start to get into naming some new variables and modeling, and you'll have to just stay tuned for that.